And now joining me, St. John's head coach Mike Anderson. And Mike, you have been in a lot of different places and been highly successful at rebuilding, restocking programs. Where would you say you are in that process at St. John's?
I would love to be a little further along than we are right now. We're going to year 4, and of course, obviously, there's some things that have been out of our control that we couldn't control. That is the pandemic, and that's kind of set us behind. But I'm really excited about this year because we returned 8 players who we brought in that fit what we're doing, and we've added 5 more players with 2 transfers. So with that being said, I think this got a chance to be one of our more experienced, one of our more talented teams.
So you've done a great job of implementing your style of play in various stops, UAB, Missouri, go back to the Tulsa days, wherever you've been, assistant, obviously with Nolan. How hard is it though to get that buy-in? Because everyone loves to say they want to play fast, but actually to play fast is a whole different matter. How hard is it to get the players to really be all in on that system?
I believe now that the players that we have in here now, I think they're ready to take that next step. And we've shown it in spurts. And I think the key is being consistent in what you do. And always think if you're going to play a certain way or you're going to play a certain style, you got to be committed to it. And so we're committed to it. And I think there are all kinds of ways to win. And so even, through the process of what we've been through since I've been here at St. John, I think I've learned some things about, the players and the league. But at the same time, I think, full throttle, if we can get that thing full throttle, it's different than what anybody else does. And the key is you play to win.
What makes it so different?
I just think the unpredictability, especially, and we started on defense. I think that's the biggest thing is, you want to make people uncomfortable in doing what they're trying to do. But at the same time, defense, I always think the finishing part is rebound the basketball. We talk about last year's team. We had a lot of games where, like 10 games is 5 points or less. You got to be able to make plays going down the stretch. So it all comes down to making good decisions. We want to hurry up those decisions.
How critical is it for that guard play to be, in sync with you to jumpstart that defensive transition, especially in that ball hawking and that unpredictability that you mentioned?
I believe that is the key. I think your guards can really take you to heights. And obviously you add in the other versatile pieces, the other parts to it. I think it takes it to another level. But I think the depth that we possibly have this year will, I think, really aid us in terms of playing the way we want to play. And just think, we want to be disruptive. Disrupted, you can be in a half-court setting, and that's what I've learned. We kind of backed off a little bit here the last couple of years, and tried to really increase the intensity on the half-court setting. But at the same time, we want to play 94 feet.
You mentioned the disruptions that obviously a lot of schools went through. How have you navigated this process of working the transfer portal? Guys are coming back maybe because of NIL or other reasons like Posh. In terms of building a veteran roster, how hard is that to do today?
Well, it's no question about it. It's hard, and it's very evident. Last year, we had 9 new guys that never done a St. John's jersey on. This year we're bringing back 8 players, and I think that says a lot in terms of where we are. We brought in 2 pretty good transfers in David Jones and Andre Cabello. I think those guys will add some experience and guys who played at that level. And so the key now is just putting it all together.
You mentioned the Big East. What have you learned over the last 4 years about the Big East?
Some great coaches, some great teams, great tradition. I think it's top shelf, one of the better basketball conferences in the country.
And Mike, the Empire Classic, played in Brooklyn at Barclays. Obviously your home court, Queens, Madison Square Garden. What is it about, though, even a neutral court tournament, technically, for St. John's to stay in the area and to continue to build that fan support all over the New York metropolitan area?
Well, when you talk about, New York, it's still in New York. And I think we've done a pretty good job of bringing in guys from this area that people can identify. Let's say even with a guy like Andre coming back, to the city. A guy like Ponch, who his brand and what he's doing with our basketball team. Joel Soriano, we saw the emergence of him. So I think that, our fans, our alumni, they're really excited about it. And our job now is to put the product out there and something they can be proud of. They're thirsting for it, and I know that. And so let's give them something they hadn't had in a while. And that is, Red Storm, storming the floor, up and down the floor defensively. A lot of highlights, winning basketball.
Mike, I appreciate it. Looking forward to watching you guys.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it. Thank you.